Hey guys, so here's a quick little tutorial. This book is the PDF that I sent out, and a good thing would be just to read through this part one, creating a character. It's just like a couple pages long. It's pretty much it. And that'll give you like at least a good primer. But basically this is a character sheet of one of my characters. You're gonna be rolling for like all these different stats. You got strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. They're pretty self-explanatory, but you're gonna want to take like a 4d6, which is 4 6-sided die. Roll them, and so what do we got? 6. Drop the lowest, so this would be a 13. Do that 6 times, and then take those 6 numbers and assign them as you would want to. You know, if you want to be like a fighter, strength is a good stat to put your highest roll into. And basically what your stat is going to correspond to all these skills and the saving throws. Saving throws are like if something bad happens to you. Let's say a big giant throws a barrel at your face. I'm like, oh, make a strength saving throw to see if you can catch it. You know, that's what this is for. It's kind of a defensive thing. These skills are kind of what I find the most interesting. They correspond to like what your character can do when it comes to like kind of role-playing stuff. So if we're playing and you get to like a chasm and there's like a 10-foot cliff and you want to try to jump to the other side, I might ask you to make an athletics check. So that's what this is. Or if you run into like a group of thieves and you're trying to convince them that you're like a thief as well, you know, that might be a deception. Each of these are kind of interesting, and I'd recommend like reading what these different skills are. But whenever we're like role playing and stuff, if you try to do something, typically you'll want to make a roll based on one of these skills. And so you roll your stats, you assign them, and then the higher your stat is, the higher this bonus number is. So you have a dexterity of 18, or I do in this character, so I have a +4. So that's what this number is next to acrobatics. It's a 4. So if I were to make an acrobatics check, that would be a d20. So I rolled an 18, and then I add this 4, so I actually roll a 22, which is really good. So that's kind of like what that number means. Is it's basically the higher it is, the better the advantage you get on that particular type of check. So those are your stats, and then you're going to want to pick a race. So for the sake of argument, let's say we're a dwarf. So each race has some modification of your ability score. So regardless of what you roll, if you picked this type of dwarf, you would add 2 to your constitution. And basically like pick whatever race you want through this, and then kind of read through, see what ability score would be improved, and just make that adjustment on your ability scores. And then kind of read through, like there's a lot of other stuff, but we can kind of go through that later. So you pick a race, you know, there's dwarves, elves, humans, boring, gnomes. You know, you can kind of look through them on the PDF and pick one you like. And then there are classes. And here are all the different classes. And actually this little table in the beginning is kind of neat, because it'll kind of show you, you know, what each class, the advantages it has, and its hit die, which is kind of related to the number of hit points you have. So pick a class, let's say barbarian. So you pick barbarian, and you read through it, and it'll kind of show you like, oh, here are your proficiencies. So these are the things you can use, the types of armor and shields, types of weapons, your saving throws, and your skills. So when you're proficient in something, it basically means you have this thing called a proficiency bonus, and you get to add it to that number. So this particular character, he was proficient in wisdom, so it was, let's see, wisdom was +4, then I added this proficiency bonus, and that's why I have a 10. So if I try to wrangle a horse, you know, I'd make that check. I rolled a 16, so it would actually be a 26. I'm going to be adding this number. So the most important thing is like roll these abilities, pick a race and a class you want, and read about them and see what modifiers they have, and then you know, kind of basically fill in these numbers which correspond to the bonus of your ability score. And the bonus of your ability score, there's a little table in here which is kind of handy. If I can find it really quick. And I'll send it as a picture, but that's the basic gist. I hope that helps. Bye.